Sean Duffy, a name you might recognize from reality TV or Capitol Hill, is making headlines again. President-elect Donald Trump has tapped the former Congressman and Fox News contributor to be the next Secretary of Transportation. And let's just say, this choice has sparked some major debates. Supporters see him as a bold leader who could revitalize America's infrastructure. Critics, though, question his experience in a role this critical. In this video, we're breaking down Sean Duffy's background, the reasons behind his controversial nomination, and what his leadership could mean for the future of transportation in America. Whether you're on board with this decision or not, you'll want to stick around to see how this could shape the next 4 years of US transportation policy. To understand why Sean Duffy's nomination is such a hot topic, we need to look at where he's coming from. Born and raised in Wisconsin, Duffy first stepped into the spotlight as a cast member on MTV's The Real World, Boston in the late 1990s. But unlike most reality TV stars, he transitioned to a career in law and politics, serving as District Attorney of Ashland County before being elected to Congress in 2010. As a U.S. representative, Duffy represented Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District, focusing on issues like rural broadband, agriculture, and infrastructure. One of his notable achievements was securing funding for the St. Croix Crossing, a major bridge project connecting Wisconsin and Minnesota. His ability to push bipartisan initiatives like this is something his supporters are quick to highlight. However, Duffy's resignation from Congress in 2019 came as a surprise. He cited family priorities, particularly the health needs of his 9th child, as the reason for stepping away. Since then, he's remained in the public eye as a co-host on Fox Business Network and a staunch advocate for conservative policies. Fast forward to November 18, 2024. And Duffy finds himself nominated for one of the most powerful positions in government, Secretary of Transportation. This role puts him in charge of managing a $105 billion budget and overseeing America's aviation, automotive, and transit systems. It's a position that demands expertise in complex policy areas, which is exactly where the controversy begins. Sean Duffy's nomination has set off a whirlwind of reactions, and it's not hard to see why. On one hand, his supporters argue that his political and media background makes him uniquely equipped to communicate complex policies and advocate for innovative solutions. On the other hand, his critics are raising some big questions about his qualifications, or lack thereof, for such a technical and demanding role. Let's start with the arguments in Duffy's favor. During his time in Congress, he worked on major infrastructure projects, including the St. Croix Crossing. His supporters see this as proof that he understands the challenges of building and maintaining infrastructure in America. Additionally, Duffy's media career has made him a skilled communicator, which his allies say will help him connect with the public and rally support for big transportation initiatives. Beyond his experience, there's the political angle. Duffy is a close ally of President-elect Trump and a vocal advocate for policies like deregulation and America First economics. By nominating Duffy, Trump is signaling a shift away from the green energy focus of the previous administration and toward traditional infrastructure priorities such as road and bridge repair, vehicle manufacturing, and possibly scaling back electric vehicle incentives. Supporters believe this shift will spur economic growth and job creation. But the criticisms are hard to ignore. Unlike past transportation secretaries who brought years of specialized expertise, Duffy's career has been centered on politics and media, rather than the intricacies of aviation safety, transit systems, or emerging technologies like autonomous vehicles. Critics argue that these gaps in his knowledge could slow progress or lead to mismanagement of critical projects. Then there's the matter of priorities. Duffy has expressed support for rolling back vehicle emissions regulations and eliminating tax credits for electric vehicles, moves that environmental advocates warn could set back progress on climate change. Furthermore, his lack of experience managing large-scale transportation systems has raised doubts about whether he's prepared to handle pressing challenges like traffic safety, public transit modernization, and aviation workforce shortages. Duffy's nomination also reflects Trump's broader political strategy. By choosing a loyalist for the role, Trump may be looking to consolidate his agenda at the Department of Transportation. But this raises questions about whether Duffy's leadership will prioritize the country's long-term needs or focus more narrowly on advancing the administration's political goals. As the Senate confirmation process looms, these debates are likely to intensify. Supporters will argue that Duffy's leadership and communication skills are exactly what the Department of Transportation needs, while critics will push hard on the gaps in his technical expertise and policy experience. The stakes couldn't be higher. The decisions made under Duffy's watch could shape the future of US transportation for decades to come. To understand the potential impact of Sean Duffy's leadership, let's look at some key challenges facing US transportation today and how his approach could shape their outcomes. First, there's the issue of infrastructure modernization. One of Duffy's legislative achievements in Congress was securing funding for the St. Croix crossing, a $640 million bridge connecting Wisconsin and Minnesota. Supporters point to this as evidence of his ability to champion large-scale projects. If confirmed, Duffy could prioritize similar infrastructure improvements, focusing on traditional projects like highways and bridges. However, critics worry that this emphasis might come at the expense of investments in newer priorities, such as high-speed rail or urban transit systems. Next, consider the rise of electric vehicles, EVs. The US is at a critical juncture in transitioning to greener transportation. The previous administration's policies incentivized EV adoption through tax credits and stricter emissions standards. Duffy, by contrast, has expressed support for rolling back these measures, aligning with Trump's broader push to favor traditional energy industries. For consumers, this could mean fewer incentives to go electric, potentially slowing the country's shift to a cleaner, more sustainable transportation network. Aviation safety is another area where Duffy's leadership could have a significant impact. The industry is grappling with pilot shortages and air traffic controller staffing gaps, leading to delays and safety concerns. While Duffy's experience doesn't include aviation management, his strong communication skills could help spotlight these issues and push for legislative solutions. But the lack of technical expertise could pose a challenge in navigating the complexities of these systems. Let's not forget public transit. Cities across the US are looking to expand and modernize transit options to reduce congestion and pollution. Under Duffy's leadership, funding for public transit could face cuts, as Trump's administration has historically favored road and highway projects over urban transit initiatives. For cities already struggling to maintain their systems, this shift in priorities could create long-term setbacks. Finally, Duffy's nomination raises questions about disaster preparedness and resilience. With climate change increasing the frequency of severe weather events, transportation infrastructure needs to be more durable than ever. The Department of Transportation plays a key role in disaster response, from repairing damaged roads to coordinating emergency evacuations. Critics question whether Duffy, with his limited technical background, has the experience necessary to manage these high-stakes scenarios effectively. These examples show how Sean Duffy's approach could reshape transportation policy for better or worse. His focus on traditional infrastructure aligns with the priorities of his supporters, but it may leave critical areas like EV adoption, urban transit, and climate resilience underfunded or overlooked. As the Senate debates his confirmation, these are the issues that will define his potential legacy. So, what's the deal with Sean Duffy's nomination as Secretary of Transportation? It's clear that this choice represents a bold political move by President-elect Trump. Supporters see Duffy as a fresh voice who can bring a new perspective to America's transportation challenges. His track record in Congress and his communication skills could help rally public support for infrastructure projects that align with traditional economic priorities. But the concerns are just as striking. Critics question whether Duffy's lack of technical experience could hinder progress on critical issues like aviation safety, public transit modernization, and the transition to electric vehicles. His nomination also raises broader questions about whether the Department of Transportation will prioritize long-term solutions or focus more narrowly on short-term political gains. As his confirmation hearings approach, the stakes couldn't be higher. Duffy's leadership will play a pivotal role in shaping the nation's transportation policy for years to come, impacting everything from the roads we drive on to the way we adapt to emerging technologies and climate challenges. What do you think? Is Sean Duffy the right choice to lead the Department of Transportation? Or is this a risky gamble with far-reaching consequences? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more insights into the stories shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.